Good evening, viewers. Welcome to Issues at Hand, WBS TV. Peter Kilazo, your host. And it is the last one to the election. The election a day away from today, on 18th, which is the Thursday. Thursday by 7 o'clock, the presidential and parliamentary elections shall have started happening, or shall start happening. And I use the shall very deliberately, unless otherwise, in case of calamity. But 7 o'clock, the election will have rolled off. And so for me, it's a shall. And today, midnight today, is the last time any of the candidates or their agents should come to you to ask for votes in public. Mark my words, it's in public. Therefore, it is possible for them to come to you in your house and talk to you without the knowledge of the rest of us, or without running adverts. So the adverts should run up to the end of, up to midnight tonight, and that will be end of the road. With me in the studio is Ambassador Kintu Nyago. Ambassador Kintu Nyago, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kibazo. Thank you, viewers.
Ambassador Kintu Nyago is Uganda's deputy head of mission in the U.S.?
To the United Nations.
To the United Nations. That's New York.
Yes.
Most of the times he's here with us, though. I think he does most of his work around Kampala. Alongside Ambassador Kintu Nyago is Honorable Medard Lubega Segona. In good times, he would like us to add on Kalya Amagwa until a few of my friends challenge him. But welcome aboard, Honorable Segona.
Well, thank you, and good evening, our viewers. Well, at all times, I'm called Kalya Amagwa, especially in times of war like this one. It's really actually a name designated and designed for war times like this one. And I use the word war times consciously.
We'll interrogate that. We should be joined by, we should have been joined by Honorable Ibrahim Semujunganda, who says by the designates of his times, he's unable to be here in time, but he had delegated to the deputy spokesman of the FDC, Sare Peru, who is not yet here. As of and when she joins us, she will get us. Gentlemen, I get straight to the grit of the business. Both of you, I suppose Ambassador Kintu Nyago as well, but I'm certain about Honorable Segona, have been in the thick of campaigns.
That's correct.
Today is end of the line. Honorable Segona, are you satisfied that your efforts will deliver that ballot, and the ballot will convert or result into a result that you'll be satisfied with, no matter whether it's victory or otherwise, but that when you cast your ballot, at the end of the day, whether for member of parliament, I suppose you will vote for yourself, I suppose, whether for member of parliament, whether for your presidential candidate, that by the end of the day you'll go back home with a satisfied heart that that vote that I cast is what was declared by the end of the day, and I'm satisfied?
Well, the answer is obviously yes and no. I'm immensely satisfied that from what we've been doing since the commencement of our campaign, I can speak with confidence and without fear of contradiction that we're having victory come our way. For the past that has happened, notwithstanding the challenges, yes, I'm immensely satisfied. For what is about to happen and the effects of what we have seen, I can only speculate. I do not want to engage in speculation, that would be okay. And the effect of the past. I am aware of a Chinese ambassador who was asked in 1965 about the effects of the Second World War, 20 years after the end of the Second World War, and he had this to say. He said it's too early to comment and speculate, so I do not want to speculate on what is likely to happen between tonight and Thursday. But for now, I can say, notwithstanding the challenges, notwithstanding the troubles and tribulations we've gone through, Yes, we're having the end of Musevenism.
Your candidate, John Patrick Amama Mbabazi, specifically has been apprehensive about the electoral process. He actually cautioned about people that are supposed to come in from Rwanda, Tanzania, and possibly the Congo and participate into the elections of Uganda. I would like to listen to him every time he talks about possible malpractice in the election, because he's really just gotten out yesterday, so he possibly would know a little more than a lot of people that have been out longer. Does this worry you?
Yes, it worries me because I'm entitled to a smooth election in my country. I pay for it, I work for it. So I should not be thinking about the possibility of someone coming from across the border to participate in my election. So that one worries me about the elections today and tomorrow in my country. But as I've said, we're here to break chains. We have never thought of heading for a smooth election, even when we are perfectly entitled to the same. It is not only those that are going to cross or that may cross from Rwanda, Congo, and Tanzania to participate, or even South Sudan to participate in the election. It is about the whole sum, the total sum of the malpractices, including but not limited to the participation of the armed forces. You've seen how partisan the police has been, how partisan the army has been, how there has been recruitment of, what are these people? The crime creators. Who are,
the word is preventers.
Oh, they use preventers. I see creation as opposed to prevention. So the participation of the crime creators, who you call your preventers, dressed in yellow, who I'm told are now armed, the participation of armed forces or intelligence services at the tally centers in the district, which we have heard about. So all those ones have cause us reason to worry. But like I said, that notwithstanding, we're going to jump over the obstacles to break the chains and ensure victory over the perpetrators of that criminality. Yes,
Ambassador
the second segment you talked about was having seen them or having known those people who participate in those. I do not know. I have not interviewed him about the past and his participation in the past malpractices. Of course, they have been there. But one thing I've learned from him is that Mr. Museveni uses both official and unofficial channels. He uses parallel organs and agencies, even with outside his official campaign line. So, if someone is prone to that level of criminality, of course, he will continue that way. In Uganda, what worries me, Peter, is ordinarily I should not even be thinking of agents at the polling station. The Electoral Commission ordinarily would be taking care of my vote.
Well, you're not dealing with an ordinary situation.
True, that's why I'm putting agents, that's why I'm deploying all sorts of forces, including security.
Ambassador Kintu Nyago, 1 and 2. 1, this is going to be an election in which the largest number of youth entered ever for an election that haven't. You have 5.3 million young people entered into an election who are going to cast their ballot for the first time. Several of these are unemployed, are hopeless. Several times people use that for an insult, but it isn't. They are short on hope. They are unemployed. They don't know where their bread tomorrow will come from, and they charge you for this. Does that worry you?
We'll start with this ordinary election in the sense that we have a matured parliamentary process and parliament in which the Honorable Segona is a member. deliberated on the laws that made that regulates the elections and attempted to the best of their ability to perfect it. There are no perfect laws. Segona is also a lawyer, so he's fully aware about that. But I mean, we follow the law as it is rather than the law that we wish it to be. But Mr. Segona has the advantage of being a legislator, so he could have changed that law, he and himself, because he's not in parliament as an individual. He has got a party, they have got a caucus for the, for the opposition and so forth. They could have caucus to make the law, reflect what their aspirations. So I would imagine that the law that came out, in which he participated, reflects fairly well his aspirations. I mean, he couldn't have monopolized the process because there are different other stakeholders. Regarding the youth, we are not worried. I mean, most Ugandans are very hopeful. Uganda is a country full of hope. True, there are challenges. Many youth come out and we don't have as many jobs as we want. But I think the president is coming out with, the President Museveni that is, he's coming out with programs to ensure that these youth are fully and meaningfully employed. One of which is to try to stop the land evictions, because many of these youth could be in the rural areas. So by stopping the land evictions, as he's proposing through the land fund, that should help a lot. Secondly, through the youth fund that is going to have about $250 million shillings, whereby youths, the ones you've mentioned, Mr. Chiwazo, will have to access this money without collateral, because one of the characteristics of these youths is that they don't have property or they don't have collateral to take to go to the bank, for instance.
When did that happen?
Oh, as a matter of fact, Mr. Chiwazo, most youth don't have. If say
No. I need to understand.
Oh, you mean when
the program roll out? Because the last promise by the president was that he would roll out monies as such without collateral. The governor of the Bank of Uganda, who I severally respect, Tumusiime Mutebile, said such money did not exist. It doesn't exist anywhere in the world. It doesn't exist certainly in Uganda. The president said he had the money when he sent it to Microfinance Support Center. The ones that came to Kampala went through DFCU. It was imposed on a 9% interest rate, and I think subsequently, by the time it gets to the youth, it's at about 7% per month, which is 100 and something interest rate if you did a year.
So where is a money lending rate?
Yes, where is that money?
Well, the governor is without a doubt an expert in these issues, but he's not entirely correct, because there's something called the Grahim Project from Bangladesh. Professor, I think, is called Yunus. In the Grahim Project, the main collateral is trust, the social capital, whereby people, your neighbors should.
Sounds very academic. Talk to me about what is happening. No, it happens.
It's very successful.
Tell me about what is happening.
It even happens here, but it has happened very successfully in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is not an academic endeavor; it's a real country with 150 million people. And the Grahim Project has been adopted in many other, societies, including in parts of Uganda. So the president wants to adopt that concept, whereby your neighbors... I
like the wants to.
Intends to, because, I mean, he's a president and he's not just a wishful thinker. It's a directive, so he's going to, next financial year, this money is going to be in the budget. And what's going to happen is that the youth you have mentioned are going to access this money through peer recommendation and peer,
Ambassador,
yes.
I know you as a very knowledgeable person.
I'm just telling you what the president's going to do.
Hold there.
It's not
and budgets for this country
yes.
do not happen in a singular financial year. They happen through a midterm planning, which is called the medium-term expenditure framework,
yes.
the MTF. For anything that is going to happen now, it should have been indicated within the 3 years running. It cannot fall on us like manna.
Well, Mr. Museveni has a 5-year, to start with, is going to win. Mr. Segona, without a doubt, he's very hopeful.
Well, Segona says his candidate is going to win.
Which is very good. Which is very,
I know Peru will say the same.
Let me finish, Mr. Chibazo, give me time. Which is very good. It shows you that Mr. Segona is also hopeful. Otherwise, had he not been hopeful, he would not have said categorical on WBS that they are going to win. But certainly, I think the figures, the facts and figures, and our own estimation. I mean, we have got our own sources. Mr. Segona has his sources, and I respect his sources. But from our own sources, we are very confident, more than confident that we are going to win. And then, once we are in power, we are going to ensure we've got 5 years. And within those 5 years, well, this next financial year, possibly this may not be catered for, but within the lifetime of the president's 5 years, the project will be, there will be fruition of this project, and the youths are going to share from this. Not only the youth, even the women. There's a women fund also, and there's also 1 trillion shillings that was going to go into NADS.
Sarah, I'm going to take a break, but welcome aboard, Sarah Peru. Viewers I will interrogate this. Today I looked at youth moving with Dr. Kizza Besigye, all the way from Kasangati, going through Nakawa Division. It was a sea of youth. At the same time, I met John Patrick Amama Mbabazi's convoy somewhere on Kakiri Wachiso Road going. And I saw young men and women running on the main stretch of the road. And I'm thinking, okay, what is the hope of these people? What are these people selling to these youth? What is it that Dr. Kizza Besigye is selling to those boys and girls, they will forgive me for calling them that are running with him the stretch from Kasangati through Nakawa to Luzira back to Naguru? Those that are running with Amama Mbabazi to Wakiso, what are you promising them? And if they don't get it, what becomes of this country? Don't go away.